Good evening. Thanks for tuning in to Grady Newsource. I'm Shantari Skinner.
And I'm Chelsea Beimfor. Today, the U.S. House of Representatives passed a bill to spend more than $3 billion to improve roads and transportation. One local highway could use this funding. Highway 316 has a growing number of accidents and deaths. Almost 200 traffic accidents in the past 6 months in Barrow and Oconee counties have sheriffs concerned. Reporter Shannon Bassford is live from 316 to tell us more. Shannon, what is the problem causing these wrecks?
I have in my hands the reports from Barrow County, 116 wrecks on 316, and that's only in the past 6 months. I also checked with Oconee County, and there were 80 more accidents on 316 there. Sheriff Judd Smith and Sheriff Scott Berry of Oconee County agree the main problem areas are the intersections. They remember this horrific crash on 316 that killed 2 people just a few weeks ago. And last week, 2 brothers from Decula High School also died in a wreck on the same highway.
It's a dangerous highway, I'll be honest with you. I think the first day that it opened in Barrow County, I think we had a fatality.
And the sheriff says the worst problem areas are the intersections. There are 14 intersections in Barrow County. Only 6 of them, like this one, have lights. The rest of them just have a stop sign, leaving it up to the driver to decide when it is safe to cross.
We can go out there any given day and we can get people running 90 plus.
A speed that makes crossing the highway dangerous enough for 116 wrecks to occur within 6 months.
Our county school system dictates their bus routes based on 316. That's how they do it. They don't want buses crossing it.
Which can make you wonder, if the road isn't safe for buses to cross, is it safe for anyone?
They have crosswalks at 316. I could not imagine crossing over 316 on foot or a bicycle or anything like that.
Sheriff Smith has one piece of advice for drivers on 316. Just slow down. Live from Highway 316, I'm Shannon Bassford, Grady Newsource.
More detailed reports on where the accidents occur along the highway are on our website. Go to GradyNewsource.com for more.
Highway 316 isn't the only place in Athens where there are traffic concerns. Over the past 2 days, hundreds of middle and high school students from around the state have taken over the streets of downtown Athens for the Future Business Leaders of America Fall Leadership Conference. To help ease traffic flow and keep visiting students safe, Corporal Robert Hare of the Clark County Sheriff's Office broke out his light-up traffic gloves.
When you get a lot of close calls, people not paying attention to you, you almost get run over. I just started searching online and I found these gloves.
The gloves flash red for stop and green for go. Corporal Hare says he is currently the only officer in Clark County with these gloves, but thinks they are very beneficial and more officers should begin to use them.
At least one commissioner is upset that voters have not seen the draft of an Athens-Clark County Public Utilities Plan. The materials given to the commission are usually put on the ACC website, but the utilities plan was not. Newsource reporter Rayleigh Brozier is live at City Hall. Rayleigh, is this unusual?
Well, Chelsea, some commissioners say it is. There was an 8-page summary of the document released online with the agenda, but the full 90-page version was nowhere to be found, and that's why some people were upset. An update to the 2015 Public Utilities Plan passed, but not without some hiccups. Commissioners Gertz, Hamby, and Aherod presented their changes to the draft of the plan, which focused on using septic tanks in the future to dispose of the county's waste, and not putting in new sewer lines. Commissioner Jerry Neesmith suggested the vote be delayed for 2 months so that the public could see the full utilities plan. Some agreed, but the updates were eventually passed anyway. Neesmith says his problem was not with the changes the commissioners wanted to make, but that the public hadn't seen the full document.
They just saw the numbers. That's all those 8 pages were numbers. They didn't talk about what justified the numbers or what would be accomplished with that money. But I just couldn't ignore it. Unfortunately, we went on even though the public had not seen this document.
Neesmith says the only people who spoke out about the utility plan at the meeting were those who he'd sent the documents to via his blog. Peter Norris was one of the few people who read all 90 pages. He said without them, he wouldn't have had an informed opinion.
I don't think so. There was some things in the document that weren't readily apparent when you read the summary and the PowerPoint presentation. And we had to dig into the
After wading through the long debate, it was easy to forget what the update to the plan was even about, keeping sewage waste out of the water here at Sandy Creek and at Shoal Creek. There are 3 changes the commissioners made. Public Health will use methods other than sewer lines to dispose of waste, like septic tanks. They'll avoid damaging the environment, and the projects in this plan will only serve existing structures. Norris says he hopes all of the information presented to commissioners will be available online in the future.
You know, we can read and we can, you know, make decisions. We don't have to rely on representatives for us to be informed.
Important to note that no money is being spent on this plan just yet. It simply sets the priorities for the Public Utilities Department. The full final plan will be seen by the Commission and by the public in the spring when the budget is made. Live from City Hall, Rayleigh Rozier.
The changes to the plan have already passed, but if you'd like to look at the 90-page document the commissioners had to study, it will be on our website.
The Athens-Clarke County Police are warning people about a phone scammer pretending to be law enforcement officials. The scammers are using the fake identities to trick people into giving them money. The Athens police say that they have received incidents of this occurring 4 times in the past 2 weeks. Reporter Mary Grace Shaw has more on how you can avoid getting scammed.
I'm at the Athens-Clarke County Police Department, where law enforcement officials inside this building say that residents have been calling and complaining about receiving phone calls from people claiming to be law enforcement officials that aren't.
Anna McLean heard her phone ring, and when she grabbed her phone, she saw an Atlanta area code on the phone screen. She did what most Georgia residents would do. She answered it, expecting it to be someone she knew. Only the voice that greeted her wasn't someone she knew. It was the voice of someone claiming to be the FBI.
I was really scared. I thought that my identity had been stolen. I thought I was in some sort of serious trouble, and it just was honestly weirdly violating.
McLean says the man told her that he had information about her and that a complaint was filed against her. Then the phone call disconnected.
I researched the number for the Atlanta FBI office thinking that I could ask them about it, and it was the same number that called my phone.
McLean called the number, and the FBI employee who picked up told her that the call was very different than how the FBI handles calls.
They would provide their credentials first before asking me any information or anything like that.
A new media professor at the University of Georgia says that technology makes it easy to scam people over the phone.
You can get apps that allow you to easily just enter in, the number you want to call, and then enter in a number that you want to show up on their caller ID, and hit call, and they actually see that number on their caller ID.
The next time you get a phone call from an unknown number, you might want to think twice before giving out any personal information, even if the phone number does look like a law enforcement official's number.
McLean says she is much more cautious after this experience.
With all the technology these days, I don't really know if what I'm doing is safe at all.
Law enforcement officials say it's best to never give any of your personal information over the phone. At the Athens-Clarke County Police Department, for Grady Newsource, I'm Mary Grace Shaw.
If you receive a phone call from someone claiming to be a law enforcement official, make sure to report it to the real police immediately.
It's the side of breast cancer we don't hear about often, what mastectomy surgeries can take away and leave behind for women. Tattoos are becoming a popular way for breast cancer survivors to heal and regain control of their bodies. Coming up, reporter Macy Lauren explains the growing trend of mastectomy tattoos.
Hi, I'm Charles Davis, Dean of Grady College.
And I'm Adeline Kennerly, Miss Georgia, and we are excited to be one of many organizations participating in a Hunger Bowl food drive.
From October 30th to November 13th, drop off your canned or boxed food items anywhere on the first 4 floors of Grady College in our specially marked bins.
If you don't want to haul big boxes of cans into Grady, we'll have volunteers at these times in the psychology parking lot to take your donations.
Go Dogs, go Hunger Bowl.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him going on to fascinate millions with his talent? 1 in 260,000. The odds of this born racer having 157 career top 10 finishes in NASCAR? 1 in 125 billion. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year? 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I'm NASCAR driver Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Grady Newsource alumni and Good Morning America anchor Amy Robach and her co-anchor Robin Roberts are credited with saving lives after sharing their experience with breast cancer. Both women had radical mastectomies, but here's another side of the story you really don't hear about: reconstructive nipple tattoos. Grady Newsource reporter Macy Lauren has more on how this trend is helping survivors heal.
The nipple tattoo is what changed everything. I mean, instantly, I felt like another woman. Like I was back and I was whole.
Stephanie Sharp is a breast cancer survivor. She's talking about the tattoos she got after having a double mastectomy. These tattoos gave her a chance to reclaim something she lost in treatment: her nipples.
You're in front of the mirror, you see a missing part, and now I don't have that. So I just feel normal. I mean, I feel normal. That's how I feel.
Tattoo artist Ron Hendon is the guy behind the needle. He's been doing mastectomy tattoos for over 20 years. He says they are the most rewarding tattoos he does and can give breast cancer survivors a new beginning.
It can be really emotional. I mean, some women, have cried to find out that they could have a nipple put back on and have it done easily.
Hendon uses the same machine and ink as any other tattoo he does. The end result? An incredibly realistic, three-dimensional looking areola and nipple.
And it takes me 30 minutes to put it back on, at the very most. It's really a simple process. And if that can give somebody back their self-esteem, I mean, why wouldn't you do that? That's so easy.
Sandy Pyle is an oncologist who works specifically with breast cancer patients. She says after the cancer cells are gone, most patients don't realize how traumatic the loss of a nipple can be after having a mastectomy.
For women, it's a daily reminder of what they've been through, and also a daily reminder of what could return to.
Mastectomy tattoos aren't just nipples. Some women prefer a more artistic design, like flowers or hearts, to cover surgery scars. No matter what the tattoo is, Hendon says he's proud to use his strengths to help those who have been so strong in their own battles with breast cancer.
It's amazing because you're able to do something that you've learned to do that really doesn't take a lot of energy, but you can do it and make someone that happy. That's great. You can't beat that.
And for the survivors getting inked, the impact these tattoos have is more than skin deep.
I am totally happy, even still to this day, with how they look.
It's a happiness Sharp says she hopes sharing will help other women love their look after breast cancer. Macy Lauren, Grady Newsource.
The tattoo artist featured in the story, Ron Hendon, works out of Midnight Iguana Tattoo in Athens, Georgia.
Some people say prayers do help, but they cannot cover the cost of medical treatments. This is why one UGA student created a GoFundMe page to help out his friend. Reporter Janae James finds out how.
Brandon Coffer is a student at the University of Georgia who created this GoFundMe page, which raised more than $2,000 in one day. He did this all to help pay for medical expenses of his friend Aaron Elwood.
I put GoFundMe in his name, and that was really the easy part, just setting up a page and making some posts, and everybody that's contributed so far has done the hard work.
Aaron Elwood has a degenerative eye disease called rod cone dystrophy. According to the National Center for Advancing Translational Services, rod cone dystrophy is an eye disorder that affects both the cones and the rods. Symptoms of this disease include decreased visual acuity when looking straight ahead, loss of color perception, and an abnormal sensitivity to light. Elwood's symptoms have worsened. He recently had to withdraw from college. He was nervous to tell his friends, but that's when Brandon stepped in.
Generosity just from one of our brothers is amazing. And, you know, the support it's gotten from all sorts of people sharing it. There's no words I can really use to describe that level of, you know, gratitude.
Brandon was pleased that his small effort brought Aaron a big smile.
He was really, I guess, for lack of a better word, happy about it. You know, he said that he got tears in his eyes about it. He didn't expect somebody to step up and do something like that.
Although Aaron may not be in school anymore, Brandon says he is still in the thoughts of others. Janae James, Grady Newsource.
Elwood says he plans to donate the funds to research aimed at finding a cure for these types of diseases.
Not a lot of sun in the near future. I'll have your weather forecast for you next.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you? You know you do. Yeah, but I don't know where to start. That's why we're here. We're free, handsome. I think we're breathtaking. And here to guide you through every step of the way, starting with attendance. Gary, financial aid forms. Biology homework, G. I got this. Is that Bran? Colleges love extracurricular activities. Chess really isn't my thing. I got this. Doesn't matter. Go ahead. Picking a college, man. You and us. Go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos.
Fire and ice.
Those don't really go together.
Go to GetSchooled.com for more info.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, excuse me, sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If the door's locked, knock first. Don't burp, don't swear, don't stare, don't use bad language, or talk with your mouth full. Keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
And don't interrupt. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give your seat up to anybody who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you want to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
Good talk.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
And now, the weather.
The past week has been filled with fog, floods, and several inches of rain. Many rivers overflowed, causing streets to close and muddy messes.
Aaron, you mentioned to us Tuesday that there were several flood warnings in the Northeast Georgia area. Are those warnings still in effect?
Well, guys, the National Weather Service says that the flood warning is over for now. However, we do have a chance of rain all week and possible thunderstorms. Tonight, we're looking at a low of 63 degrees with a patchy drizzle and some dense fog. Be careful if you're driving out on the road. Tomorrow, we are going to see a high of 75, scattered thunderstorms throughout the day. Those are expected to be there in the morning, stop around noon, and pick back up at 4 p.m. As you can see, we do have thunderstorms coming down the east coast. Those may bring some flash floods in the area. We also have a cold front moving in that we will expect to see the effects of come Sunday. The Dogs prepare to face off between the Hedges against Kentucky this weekend. Now we are going to have a rainy Saturday. Kickoff is at noon, high of 71, showers likely. Here's a quick look at our 5-day forecast. Highs in the 60s and 70s, lows in the 60s, and that will get cooler by Sunday. For more information, visit GradyNewsource.com. I'm Erin O'Brien.
Everybody kind of knew he was a great coach before he got here.
The effect one coach has had on a local football team coming up after the break.
Verse means go fast.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours.
Dr. King, what's your next move?
In March from Selma to Montgomery. Selma is loud for every man, woman, and child. We will not wait any longer. In front of a crowd. Mine eyes have seen the glory. Glory, glory, hallelujah.
Okay, Simon, what do people wear?
Clothes.
That's right. So it's important to learn how to dress yourself. Here's how it's done. Shirt, underwear, pants, socks, shoes. Underwear, always first, name tag on the back. Then pants and shirt. Go ahead and put this on. Now with the shirt, you want to make sure the first button's right or you have to start all over again, okay? Socks left on left, right on right. Tying the shoes, we're gonna take the laces, we're gonna cross them over, we're gonna turn around where the bunny goes down in the hole, pull it tight, and bunny ears. Got it?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
Hey, Gabby, how you doing? How's the play date and sleepover?
Dad, it was great.
Awesome. Okay, I'm on my way. Hey, guys, what are you doing?
We're going swimming. We're going biking. Yeah!
I'll see you in a little bit, guys. I love you.
Hi, babe. How was school today?
Hi, Dad. It was great.
Okay, honey. I'll be home soon. Remember, you're never too far away from your kids to be a dad. Reach out and take a second to check in, because sometimes the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
And now, sports.
Georgia football coach Mark Richt tweeted out that defensive coordinator Jeremy Pruitt is staying with the coaching staff. Richt remains cool, calm, and collected despite critics saying he should go. Richt also acknowledges the criticisms. He says he has an important message for his fans.
I think it's important to support these guys, just like this Saturday coming up. I really believe the dog walk should be full and everybody round up ready to play a ball game. The dogs are going to play the Cats this weekend. Everybody needs to show up.
The dog walk takes place 90 minutes before the noon kickoff. Coach Richt encourages all fans to come out and show their support. You've heard from the coaches earlier this week, but not the players. Cedar Shoals basketball team says it is putting last season's devastating Final Four loss behind them. But senior guard Jared Mitchell still remembers the feeling.
Very hard. We lost by 1 point in the end. 1 point away from the championship.
Meanwhile, Clark Central wants to get back to the playoffs after watching its crosstown rival win the region and reach the Final Four. Senior guard Jabril Parks says the team must work hard and take everything seriously.
We just got to work hard to take everything serious, because last year we started playing here and there, but now we just got to get serious, work hard, and actually want it this year.
Both the Jaguars and Gladiators tip off their seasons in 2 weeks, but the Final Four is far away. Third time is supposed to be a charm. Josh Alexander is Athens Academy's third coach in 3 seasons, and this is the first time the Spartans have made the playoffs. He's a smooth operator off the field, but he means business on it. And the players and other coaches say they love him.
He's brought great energy, and it's been probably the funnest year of football I've had.
That's the effect first-year head coach Josh Alexander has had on Athens Academy this season. The 8-1 Spartans have one more game before reaching the state playoffs, something Alexander is familiar with when his team fell short in last year's state championship.
Lost by 4 points to Colquitt County.
When he coached Archer last season. Now he's transitioned well from a big 6A school to a small private school, and the players and coaches adapted quickly to Alexander.
It's been a very welcoming group, from the seniors all the way down to the freshmen. The parents have been welcoming.
We're going to go as fast as we can, and what time we get done with this is the time we get it.
You can watch the rest of this story and more in-depth coverage of high school football tomorrow at 5 on Grady Sports Source. For your sports, I'm Damian Reynolds.
My new mom and I have a lot in common.
The great outside.
We both love the outdoors.
So shiny.
That's not a flower. We both love geology.
Oh, look. An igneous one.
That's not a rock. And she knows a lot about wildlife.
A labradoodle.
That's not a dog. Hanging out has been kind of fun.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Maybe he's really focused.
Hey, Michael. Michael. Maybe he likes spinning the wheels.
Maybe he just loves trucks.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Preoccupation with objects is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
They're coming. Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
Lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Thanks for tuning in to Grady Newsource. I'm Shantari Skinner.
And I'm Chelsea Beinfor. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram. Good night.
Grady Newsource is a student production of the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Georgia, which is solely responsible for its contents. Views expressed do not represent those of the administration nor the Board of Regents at the University System of Georgia.